Hi students, this is the second part of the makeup video for September 10th, that's a Thursday. And let me go through what we're going to do in class today. The first part that we're going to do is work on identifying the basic cause and effect relationship between a stimulus and a response. And we're also going to work on identifying the types of sensory receptors found in complex organisms. The way that we will work on that is that we will review our homework and draw a pyramid together. And that pyramid is basically your notes for today. That's going to be a way of organizing the information that you worked on in your homework, where you had to read the article about the different types of stimuli and identify the senses that are involved in those and the types of receptors. And we're going to put this in your notebook. For the video part, or for this makeup part, we won't do a question and answer time, but you can always email me with questions and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. So when you work on this, you can flip over to the live session and this will show you how to set up your notebook. So take a second and find this file that shows you it's September 10th class notes setup. So go ahead and find that and take a second and set up your notebook. This will be on the page after Jake the Snake and the Gardener Guy. Now that you have your notebook set up, we're going to go through this pyramid that will help us to understand how a response to a stimulus occurs. So we're going to start out here by working in the very middle part. We're going to start out here by working in the very middle part with working on the response to stimuli. So anytime that there's a stimulus that your body interprets or takes in or detects, there's a basic pathway that your body will go through in order to process that stimulus and then end up having a response. The way that that works is that you have a stimulus, receptors detect that stimulus, the receptor will send a signal through a nerve cell, and that nerve cell will take that signal to the brain. So this is the four-step pathway. It's a very simple pathway that you can look at for any kind of stimulus and response. This is something that you'll need to understand. This is something that you'll need to be able to talk through as we work through our examples. We've kind of talked through it already with Jake the Snake and the Gardener Guy, and so you can kind of think through that on your own. Think for just a second. What are the three main types of stimuli? The three main types of stimuli are chemical, electromagnetic, and mechanical. So chemical, electromagnetic, and mechanical. Think for a second. What are the senses associated with a chemical stimulus? That's taste and smell. What about electromagnetic? That's sight. And finally, what about mechanical? What are the two that are left? That would be touch and hearing. This all needs to go into your pyramid, so you can pause if you need to catch up to where we are right now. Now that you have all of your stimuli and the senses associated with them caught up, let's take a look at what receptors are associated with each of these. So taste uses taste buds, smell uses olfactory receptors, sight uses the rods and cones that are located on your retina or in your retina, touch uses free nerve endings, and hearing uses auditory receptors. Each of these will send their messages. Each one of these will send their messages through a nerve in order to get to the brain. Now that you have finished your notes for today, you're going to use those notes and also the Gardener Guy and Jake the Snake drawing in order to work on a new drawing. So in your assignment, some of you may have this Below the Bear PDF. This does not work. So you need to click on this one. So everyone should have the 2020-09-10, and then the time here, 12:01:05. Everybody should have this image right here. Some of you still will have this one because I couldn't remove it from all of the classes. Don't click on it, it won't work. Use this one. So when you click on this, you're going to see a basic idea of how you need to look at our happy hiker human and our bear. This is Baloo the bear, and this is Harriet the hiker, aka the happy hiker human. She's very happy. She loves to hike. Harriet is a good hiker. She's hiked quite a bit. She's taken some classes on hiking. She works with different groups. So she knows what she's doing when she hikes. So let's say that Harriet the hiker has decided she's going to maybe hike the Appalachian Trail, or maybe she's gone out to Yellowstone to do some pretty serious hiking. And as she's walking along her trail, as she's hiking along the trail, she turns a corner and there is Baloo the bear saying roar. So, what you're going to do on this is you are going to identify the stimuli. So, you'll want to talk about the types of stimuli. You might want to talk about the senses that are involved in that. You might want to talk about the receptors that are picking up those stimuli. So you're going to put all of that information over here under stimuli. Then you're going to talk about what does the brain do. So we talked about this with Jake the Snake and the Gardener Guy. We didn't put a whole lot of that down on paper. So we'd like for you to think about this and see if you can write out maybe just bullet points or a list. What is the brain going to do? Then, once the brain has done its thing, and you may just have one answer here, that's fine. Once the brain has done its thing, what's the response? And in this case, we're going to look at the possibility of an immediate response, and we're going to look at the possibility of the happy hiker human or Harriet the hiker recalling information that she has stored in memory. So for the immediate response, this might be very similar to the fight or flight response that the gardener guy has with Jake the Snake, or it could be something a little bit different, but it's probably going to be that same general idea of an immediate response. What would you guys do if you turned a corner and saw a bear? You'd probably be a little bit scared at first, at least startled. I would be, no question about it. But then we also have this ability to recall memory. And so, one of the things that we've talked about with the gardener guy, or if we don't talk about the gardener guy and we talk about the real life inspiration for the gardener guy, which is me, when I'm weed eating at my house, I still will see a garter snake come out of the fence row on occasion. Now, the very first time that I saw that, like, I nearly threw my weed eater. I jumped. I probably yelled. I think I disturbed the neighbors. I think my mom was over. She was on the porch. I think I disturbed her. It was kind of a free for all for just a second. I did not expect to see a snake. I've lived at the house for 7 years. So that's 6 years. So that's 7 summers of weed eating and many times seeing a snake. So at this point in time, if I'm weeding along, I may still have that very first immediate response where I kind of startle just a bit, my muscles tense up. But then, because I have stored memory, I can see the snake and I'm like, ah, it's just a garter snake. Go on about your way, Jake. And then I just keep on doing what I'm doing. I don't startle the neighbors. I don't throw the weed eater. I can recall information from my memory about previous experiences that would help. So, Harriet the hiker human may be able to find some stored memory from previous hikes, from some of the classes she's taken, or anything like that. So, how would you put that in here? How would you write that out? This will need to go into your notebook, and there is another file in your homework that shows you how to set up your page, and then you'll draw this on your page and you'll talk about the different stimuli, again, the types, maybe the senses associated, maybe the receptors that are picking them up, and then move on through this. Hope you guys have a lovely day. I'll see you in class on Tuesday. If you have questions, feel free to email me and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Thanks much.